Even this morning it came up, I was going to work and I had a meeting with my supervisor. And as I was driving to work, I was doing the old me thing, which was kind of rehearsing what were we going to talk about, what cases were we going to discuss, and even exactly what words was I going to use. So that's the old me. And I caught the tape and thought, I don't have to have a plan. This is a person that I really trust. I've worked with her for 2 years, and she has shown me that I can trust her to accept me the way that I am. And I was driving and I just got this big grin on my face. Like, I'm gonna go in and just let her care about me. She's my supervisor and she's there to support me, and I'm gonna let her care about me and support me. And I don't know what we're gonna talk about. But that's my agenda, is to feel supported and cared for in this meeting.
How did the meeting go?
The meeting was fabulous. It was so great. I sat down and I didn't have an agenda, so usually I kind of launch, and I didn't. I just sat down, and she asked, so we talked about this last week, how did that go? And I was really conscious of what was happening in my body as I was sharing with her. And what I notice now is that I just take breaks for people. You can tell, like, I'm very verbal, right? So this kind of the on and on and on and on. These extroverts finding out what they're thinking and feeling by talking. It's very much me. And to stop and take a break, to see what the other person has, what their response is. What I realized in this group that I did with you is that I'm really afraid of that. I'm afraid of what their response is going to be, that it might be rejection, or that I might feel somehow abandoned. So I've been practicing more in my life, and I practiced it with her, sharing a little piece and then being quiet and waiting to see what she would say. And I can feel the fear when I'm there, and then we make eye contact and she shares something with me, and it's like, oh, you really heard me, and you really appreciate me, and you appreciate the work that I'm doing, and I feel it. Yeah.
That's the embodied thing.
That's the embodied thing.
You get to feel that.
I get to feel it. That's, I don't think I ever really knew what intimacy was, or what, people are, I have a hard time being intimate, or I struggle with intimacy. So it's very similar with my son. My relationship, I think, for his whole life has kind of been based on, so how are you, and how's your homework, and have you eaten today, and and every day now I make sure that there's 15 minutes when we first interact that I don't speak. And he's a phobic 6, so it's perfect for him. So instead of saying anything, I just go and sit quietly in his room. And I get to feel what it's like to just be with my son, which is a beautiful experience. And if you're talking and thinking and asking questions, if I'm talking and thinking and asking questions, I don't get to feel my son, who this person is. And so tonight, for example, I had to go home, I had all this stuff to do, and I am committed to every day when I see him for the first time at the end of my day that there's silence and there's a space. And so today there was 5 minutes, but I just went and I sat down in his room. Not what would you like for dinner, are you hungry, all the stuff running in my mind.
Can you feel him feeling you? Feel him?
I feel him feeling, yes.
Yeah.
So what's happened is that he is sharing much more of his world, his private world, which has been very difficult for him. And he's actually commented, what the words he said to me were, Mom, you used to be like a robot, and you don't feel like a robot anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he'll tell me when I'm in, a couple nights ago, he was like, Mom, you're getting into that making a big deal out of something mode. You're making a big deal out of something. And I said, oh. And he said, yeah. And that's where you feel like a robot.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah. And so I could just kind of step back and go, right. Yeah, I make a big deal out of something. It like becomes in my head, and it's not about you and me anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That is so
It's
awesome.
really sweet to hear.
Thank you. And I think the most important part actually is that I feel safer in the world. And this was the most challenging part for me, is that I was absolutely certain on a very deep level that if I was embodied with people, that it would not feel good. It wouldn't feel good. It wouldn't be safe. I would do something. They would do something. I can't really describe it, but there was definitely some big blocks around it. And what I learned from being in the group is that when I'm in my body, I have a lot more information to make decisions about how much I share, if I stay, if I go, if I engage with this person or I don't engage with this person. There's a lot more information if I'm in my body. And it's really pleasant, actually.
Yeah, it feels good, doesn't
It
it?
feels really good. Like,
Yeah.
my body's been sick, you know, for 3 years. I've been fighting cancer and fighting different things. And so it's only natural that I would contract and pull up out of my body and not want to be in it. And now I'm getting that, just like people say, if you feel the sorrow more deeply, then you feel the joy more deeply. I'm getting that when I'm in my body, I do feel the pain and the uncomfortableness, the lack of control, all of those things. I do feel that more deeply. And I feel that even in this body that oftentimes is feeling achy and not good, there's pockets of joy and pleasure and happiness that are just there intrinsically.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. Yeah.